Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend, and I'm back. It is Sunday, November 28th, 2021. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Kay. Hi, Jenna. These are paid readings. They're $5 per question. I'm giving 100% to charity this week, and probably again, I'm just going to keep going until last year I did it through New Year's. And I donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And you can send the payments here. Hi, Linda. PayPal me. Remember what it is. Let me look at what it is. It's in the description. Give me just a moment, and I will look on. Linda, can you, because I don't know if KK is here today, can you copy and paste the link for the payment if Jenna wants to pay for a reading? Hi, Isha. Welcome. Oh, here she is. Thank you, KK. Sorry for the late everything. I wasn't sure if I was coming on today, to be honest with you. It's been a little bit of a rough weekend. Yay for family holidays. So that's that. I was gonna have an announcement, and I don't remember what it was now. Oh, if you ever want to do events like I have that I'm on, I'll do in-person events, but I'm happy to do online events if you have a party or something like that where for this one particular one I'm going to be doing this Friday. Oh my God, it's already December. Yeah, this Friday. I'm going to do, she's having a small get together, and I'm going to be giving 5 mini readings. And so I'll be on the computer available doing little mini readings for them. They're 15 to 20-minute readings for her guests. So that's an option. Anyway, I have private readings if you're so inclined. All of 100% of today's money that I get and will donate to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. I haven't added up in a while how much we've had, but we've well over 5,000 meals that we've provided. So through these donations throughout the year. And I always do donate some. I typically donate 30%, but around the holidays, I just go ahead and give 100%. What else? What else is new? I don't know. I'm a little sleepy. I'm a little worn out. I don't know if it's still the energy from the eclipse or what. So that's that. Let's get started, shall we? So like, subscribe, share me with your friends, all of that good stuff. Welcome if you're new. I have a lot of wonderful supportive subscribers who've been with me for a very long time, and I'm incredibly grateful for their continued support. So hello, Laura. Okay, Kay. You're up first with your 3 questions. I was told many times, oh, I'm sorry. Here's the list. Oh, KK got it right. Thank you, KK. Okay, I'll check PayPal in just a minute. Okay, Jenna? And then we will add your name to the list as soon as I check. I was told many times that I'll be moving north to be with my life partner. How will that work out if I end up buying my father's condo? Will you rent it out until she can move in with you? Sorry, I just grabbing different stones here and there. Okay. Okay, I heard something about Vermont. So are you in Vermont? Are you? It feels like briefly. It doesn't feel like I would move there for long. And I just keep feeling like your dad's property is going to end up being investment property. Okay, I'll check, Julie. Hold on. So I feel like temporarily you'd live there, but you use it kind of as an investment property. It's not something that like you're stuck on the idea that when you buy something you have to live there. Think about like most people who, I mean, property is a solid investment, right? And a lot of people who like become investors, they don't live in every single property they own. Give me a moment. I'm sorry, my brain's a little. Okay, go ahead and add Jenna and then Julie for one. And I don't know that you'll live together in that townhome. That to me doesn't feel like where where you would make your life together. You're in Maine. Is Maine Oh my god, help me out here. Vermont is south of Maine, right? Forgive my lack of geography. It's just really bad that I don't know that, but oh, it's more west, not necessarily south. Okay, well, here's my question. Are you in a part of Maine where you could technically go northwest and be in Vermont? Yeah, sorta. Because like, Maine goes the way I was looking at it, Maine's, like, kinda like, and then Vermont's kinda, like, over here, right? So, technically, you go here and go, and you're technically north. You're in southern Maine. So, technically, you could move to Vermont, and it would be northwest. So, that would fit whatever other people are saying it being north, and I just heard Vermont. So, maybe you meet this person and they live in Vermont. I don't know exactly. Um, my kids and I and my husband, my family and I, we went and saw, Encon Encantada? I don't know, the little new Disney movie yesterday. And there's, like, they all have gifts, and one of the people has the gift of vision. And the problem is like, but there's, like, no exactness to it. Sorry if I'm ruining the movie for anybody. And it's kind of the truth when you do these readings, like, I get so much, but sometimes I don't get, like, everybody wants, like, you like, sometimes you ask a lot and you're like, "I want the exact," and it's like, sometimes we're not supposed to have the exact, and I know that sounds really shitty, and then everybody's like, "Oh, you're the psychic, you're supposed to know all the details," but I'm not always given all the details because 'cause we're not always supposed to know all the details. And if you're okay with that, then, like, great, but it's hard when people get frustrated that it's not exact. These are my feelings around it, the way I feel right now. I heard Vermont, but I don't feel like, when they're saying, like, "You're gonna move north," well, yeah, maybe, but I don't feel like it's a really long period of time. It feels temporary. Um, I'm getting 3 and I'm like, it's weird to say 3 months unless you do some kinda travel position, like, maybe you're a travel nurse or something, and then you have a 3-month contract, right? Which you're not, because I remember you asking some other question about what you love, but so it could be 3 years, but even, like, that's semi-permanent-ish, but not at all. Do you see me moving in with my father by the end of the year? The end of the year as in this 2021, like, in a month. Many readers have told me he's going to have health issues, ask me to move. What's your dad's name? See, that kind of question works better with if I just, like, look at his picture and then I can give you a whole bunch of, like, what's going on energetically. I feel like he has stomach issues right now, like, I feel really nauseous, so I would put that at having, like, reflux. I don't feel like, well, um, ugh. Sorry, it just feels gross. Ugh. James. I mean, to me, somebody having health issues and you needing to physically take care of them means, like, debilitating health issues, and I don't see that right now. Does it mean they're necessarily wrong? No, but they could be wrong about the timing. Well, why are you counting on that? I mean, I hate to be an a-hole about it, but it's like, manifest something different. I don't feel like you're gonna be moving in with him, I gotta be honest. He feels much more, um, like I don't feel dementia or confusion. I feel like I ignore my health a bit. I feel like don't eat the best. Um, uh, don't go to the doctor like I should for regular physical checkups. Um, I feel like like if I'm sitting in your dad's energy, so that's why I'm saying I'm feeling like very headstrong and stubborn. And I'm hearing Capricorn, so I don't know if that means he's actually a Capricorn or he has like that Capricorn personality of just being fucking headstrong. And I say this with all the love in the world, but my husband is a Capricorn and so is my one of my children. And they're I mean, I'm stubborn too, so so not but they are very like headstrong. So so they're kind of like okay, so they're pointing to me to the direction of my grandfather, my mom's father. And this man smoked like 4 packs of cigarettes a day and drank like a fish. I mean, he drank. I mean, he was not the picture of health. And when he went in, he had colon cancer at a point, and he went in for surgery. And the nurse, he lit up a cigarette. The nurse was like, and this is in the 90s, I guess. I can't remember. And the nurse was like, Mr. You, you're in here for cancer. And he's like, I didn't have it in this end. And this, like, really, he had such a deep, he was a huge man. He was 6'4", and he'd wear his white Stetson hat. And he was originally from New York and moved to Texas. And he like just like you didn't mess with him. And and he just like and he was also a horse's ass. And like that's the feeling I get of like your dad could be doing a lot to not take care of himself. And in the end, like my grandfather lived till he was like 84 and he probably died of heart failure. He passed away. He was alone, and they found him. They didn't do an autopsy because it was like old age when you know. But it just feels like your dad may not take good care of his health the way my grandfather did, but it's like still is in pretty good shape given the fact. I feel like you just need to stop worrying about like that part of that, whatever other readers have told you. And I don't mean to like poo-poo it and be like, it's never gonna happen, but I feel like it's like take that shit off the table, pardon my French, to take that stuff off the table. Um I Ooh, sometimes I get frustrated when other readers give information because I think like again, it goes through their like, we are filters and it goes through our like our deepest, you know, I don't know. I don't want to knock other people for their job. You've got the readings when you needed to get them from the people you needed to get them from. And it's just, I guess it's not my style to put somebody in the fear of like, you're going to have this happen. Because remember, I'm only seeing like when I do a reading, when anybody else does a reading, we're only seeing a projection of where your energy is at right now. And so you can shift that. I don't know why, I just looked at myself and I thought, that I don't know, that Saturday Night Live skit, Sprockets. Sorry. Um, sorry to take us out of that. It's just, um, try not to worry about that so much. I don't see you moving in with him. So, like, take that off the table and progression and whatever. Okay? What's your other question? also feel like he doesn't want to be taken care of, so it would literally have to be, like, dire circumstances. First impression when meeting you. So don't take this the wrong way, and because it's not really meant that way, but it's like, 1, she'll notice you're fairly stubborn as well. But she says, like, or I don't know, whatever they're telling me, she feels like you'll be prettier than expected, and I, like, say that with, like, I don't really photograph that great. I just don't. I'm not really comfortable on camera or, like, with a picture. I'm fine this way because whatever, I'm in my house. Um, but, like, my husband and I met online, and he was like, "Oh, your pictures don't do you justice," and it's sort of that kind of feeling, like, your pictures won't really do you justice. So, like, if you meet online or something, or if she sees a picture of you ahead of time, she'll like, your pictures just don't do you justice, if I can say that, I don't know. Like, the only person I really ever feel like caught me as me was is my best friend who took my pictures for my website. I think because I felt really comfortable with her, so we were just, like, BSing and she was taking pictures. So, hi, Allie. Alright, Kayla. Like, your pictures won't do you justice. Like, maybe I don't know if, like, someone's like, "Oh," like, if you're introduced through another person or if you meet online, it's like whatever you post, it's not quite like, it doesn't quite catch you, right? So it's not a bad thing. It just doesn't quite catch, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess, like, my friend is a photographer, my best friend is a photographer, and she takes pictures. She says, like, "I take pictures for people's profiles a lot." Like, they get professional photos. I did not do that for my profile when meeting my husband, like, at all. Um, and I never have really felt comfortable in front of like, when someone's taking a picture, especially of me by myself. Like, I'm fine if I'm with other people, but, like, me by myself is was very uncomfortable. Yes, she will like you from the start. She'll notice you're stubborn. It's not about being prettier than she thought, it's just, like, sometimes also, like, unless you do what I do, you can't read the energy of a photo, so you don't really get the feel of the full person. I don't know, it's not a bad thing. That's why I said it's gonna sound bad, but it's not really meant to be bad. It's just what I got. Okay? All right. Laura H, you're up. Linda, you're up. It's cold. My little heater broke. I still haven't replaced it. I ordered one. It's being shipped. Let me just check and see. Might be a slow night, and I'm totally fine with that. I have happy. How is everybody doing? Good, I hope. And everybody, if you celebrate Thanksgiving. Hi, June. June, these are paid readings. This week for sure. I'm probably going forward 100%, not forever, forever, but 100% will be donated to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey. And I'm just checking to see if anybody else signed up. And KK's my wonderful moderator. Oh, hi, Lana and Devry. Okay, so after Julie is Devry with 1 and Lana with 1. So for every dollar that's donated through the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, it provides for 3 meals. So truly a little bit goes a long way. Um, and it's a great cause. People need to eat. Laura, are you ready? Where are you? Oh, there you are. How do you see a new love do I see a new love relationship sometime next year? Thank you, Allie. Allie said to don't forget to like and subscribe. Um, oh, that's okay. Um, where'd my rock go? Oh. They said more likely 2023, but they said you're pushing for something you're not ready for, and I don't understand what that means. Um, they said you have more healing work to do in your solar plexus. So your solar plexus is how you relate to the world, how the world relates to you, and your self-esteem. Um, Now, I just learned about this and I had never ever heard of it before. So this drum circle that I'm a part of on Friday nights, unfortunately, they don't have them this month, which I'm kind of bummed about. But um, we did. The person who was helping her helping facilitate it this last month is a yoga instructor, and so she offered 2 free yoga classes, and it was, like, based around, like, the psoas, and the psoas is a muscle that starts up, like, basically at the base of your diaphragm, thoracic 12, I believe, and goes down into your hips, essentially, and it's threaded along your spine, so it stabilizes your spine, it stabilizes your core, and it's a hip flexor. Um and it's what holds your fight or flight. So, like, when you feel that, like, tense in your stomach, that's your psoas muscle tensing up. And it holds it's a memory holder of trauma. And a lot of us are tight in our psoas because we sit a lot. That's why you get, like, hip soreness, low back issues. Hi, hey, hey, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. And it just feels like if you worked on some, like, we did a psoas release, that, like, we did stretches the first time we did the thing, and then the second one was about releasing the psoas, and I did release mine. It was like my legs were, like, moving on their own. It was really weird and interesting and silly, but I had memories come up, that I had suppressed for a long time, and I just feel like it's the way they're making me feel is like you need to release some stuff. It's like you're wanting this really, really deep connection with someone, which who doesn't, right? That's like our idea of what we have when we have love. But it's like if you don't release this, you can't fully have this because you won't be able to fully embrace it because you aren't. This sounds weird, but it's like you haven't fully embraced yourself. Like, so that saying that you have to love yourself before you can find love is not true. However, it's really good to love yourself so that you find that healthy love and that healthy balance. And it just feels like you still have to work a little bit here in order to get, ooh, sorry, weird chills, in order to, like, be able to embrace this thing that you're getting. It can cause stomach aches. Like, I actually, when I did the release, I finally, like, my shoulders and my scaps and traps were, like, my traps around my scaps were really, really tight. And I kept having a hard time with it. And I haven't at all. And I haven't, like, my hips were achy when I was sleeping and they've been fine since. Like, it's really incredible. So, I mean, everything is interconnected in your body. So if, like, this major set of muscles that, like, stabilizes your core and stabilizes your spine is tight, right? And it's pulling everything else. Like, think of, like, those little bendy things where you hold it like this and you push it and then it goes, "Brr," like, those little, I don't know what you call 'em. And you let go, but it's like everything else is interconnected and pulls and does all kinds of weird things, and it can make your stomach hurt. I would just look up somatic psoas release on YouTube and see if you find some videos. She did a little bit. I've been trying to find one where it was the same technique she did, and it's a little different because she had us, like, do some work with our legs to help tire our psoas out so that it would release. Um, it might be beneficial to kind of look into that. I can post her information on here, and I know that you can work with her online. She's based out of Martha's Vineyard, so but I may even do some work with her on that because I know I could further release some stuff, get rid of it, be done with it, quit holding on to it. I don't know, that's just the feeling I get. It's like that's why it takes a little bit longer because you're not quite ready for what you want right now. And that's okay though, right? It's like, don't you want it when you're fully ready for it and when you're like, so that you can really fully embrace it and keep it rather than. So I'm gonna you know what? She's on Instagram and her name is Sherry Sidoti. Um, I just want to make sure I spell it right. She's really a lovely woman. Uh, Here, let me write her name on here so that you can find her on Instagram. This is her Instagram thing. There, you can find her. She's amazing. So, okie doke. Linda, do you want to ask a question? Linda, Allie, Jenna, Julie. Yeah. Well, congratulations on starting therapy because that's an amazing, amazing gift to yourself. After Lana, I have Marlene and Rochelle. And Rochelle will come to you as soon as because you have to you're on the back, you're at the bottom of the list right now. What does Spirit want Linda to know? So I sort of feel like I'm cheating with this. So bear with me and you'll see why when I say they're like, it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to grieve that. And they said that there's guilt over having those feelings, and that's what's tying you and holding you like an anchor and keeping you from sailing forth. Like, because they showed, like a big old timey sailing ship with the mast, like the three masts and the huge sails ready to go. And it's like they're being tethered back by this guilt over your own feelings and your own emotions. And it's like, there is no guilt. There is no reason to feel bad for the emotions. They just are what they are. It's an opportunity to observe where you're at and observe it with love. You know, when you have anger and guilt and grief towards something, it's not necessarily a bad thing or a weakness. And it's because they were saying anger over the uncertainty of it all, and they said it. Yeah, again. And like, please don't think that it was a waste of your time or a waste of life or, a mistake because you needed to learn all of those lessons and see all those facets of yourself as you're growing. I said, you were meant for bigger things. And they're repeating that you are meant for bigger things. They said, it's so cliche, so forgive me, but they're saying it. It's sort of like keep moving forward, keep doing what you're doing, and they said sort of like stop looking so hard because it comes when you least expect it, and that's a cliche part 'cause it's like, "Nope." And then they show me, like, that image of, like, someone diving into a deep, deep, dark pool of water, and I don't see any sides or any bottom to it, so it feels very vast and expansive, and this is for me, water is always about your spiritual connection and about your emotional connection, to yourself, and it just feels like it feels deep and dark and expansive, and is there a bottom to it? And they're sort of saying, like, "Just move through it," "Just move through it and stop," "Is this enough? Have I experienced enough? When's it gonna be done?" They're saying, "Just move through it." And they're saying that it's like, you can always come up for air when you want if it's too much. It's not, you're not going to drown in your emotions. You're not going to not be able to breathe in them. You can come up for air and then you go back down and you get used to them. It's like when you jump in a, like, I can't walk in to the water. Like, if there's a pool, I am not tiptoeing in, I'm not walking in, I jump in because I can't handle that, like, "Let me try and get used to it." It's just like, just go full force and full in, and my therapist said after my first session, I was like, "Well, I sent this letter," and, like, she's like, because I came back after and she's like, "Whoa." And I was like, when I make a decision to do something, I just do it, and, like, even if it's really big and scary because I just, like, the fear of facing it is so much more, suffocating to me than to just go and do it. Um, Maybe some people consider that impulsive. I don't know. I've usually feel like I've been, like, suffering enough for long enough by the time I finally decide to do something, it's not really that impulsive. I feel like if my self-concept was healthier, I would be so attached to these. I wouldn't You would be. That's true. And I do sometimes feel overwhelmed by emotions. If we don't get to feel our emotions when we're little and we have to stuff them, they are overwhelming. 1,000%. They're talking to me about when you do deep breathing techniques and exercises, hold your heart space. And it just feels like, and it sounds strange, but they're like saying it's like you're hugging yourself. And they're saying to remind you that you are safe, that you are loved, to know that your heart will not just fall right outside of your body when you're feeling those deep, deep, deep emotions. And it sucks to hear this when we're going through it, but it's like you won't fall apart, you won't break. You are too strong for that, and you will only grow stronger. And of course, if any of us, like, we don't hold on to things if we have a better self-concept around something. But that's why you need to go back then and remind yourself of those things and to hug yourself and love yourself and know that you will be okay. And know that, like, there's space being held for you in so many different ways by so many different people. I myself hold space for you. I that's what happens, like, even though I've, like, never seen some of you, or I mean, I've seen you, Linda, but like, I care about you guys, and I don't have to, but, like, I think about you guys and I try to manifest for you, and, you know, um, so even when we think that we're alone, we're not alone. Okay. Allie, what's your question? You're very welcome. Thank you for all of your support. Where will you meet your future partner? Sorry, I'm cold. It's cold in here, and the energy from reading sometimes makes me colder. Um, oh my God, Allie. Um, do you ever refer to people as being clowns? And I'm not saying that you're gonna be doing the circus, it's just like your guides are saying all these other things, and then they're like doing these clownish things, and I'm like, this I'm just kidding. Um, I'm trying to ask them because it's like they're not giving me a like, so I'm like, instead of rather like a physical space, like, oh my God, stop. Sorry, they're just goofing around, so I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I feel I'm they keep making noises like that, like all these like really like goofy. I'm like, stop. Um, they're talking about like clown cars, and I don't, you ever thought of working at a circus? I don't understand this at all. Like, I'm sorry, but it's like literally like I heard Hawaii and then Kansas, and I'm like, "Okay, what?" And then I just felt like literally it was like clown noises, like people being like clowns and clowning around, and I don't even understand this because 'cause I'm trying to see if like there's a bar or through friends, and it's like, "Nope," and I'm through work. "Nope, I don't understand this." I know that sounds weird, like, I'm not saying like that you would work in a circus, but it's like there's something I don't know what this is. This is gonna I really, like, feel weird saying this, but there's something circus goofy about this. I don't I so I know this sounds weird, so I'm gonna use this best example that I can give you is a dear friend of mine used to be in marketing. If you happen to be in, Westchester, they own a restaurant, called The Tasty Table. It's really good. It's in Ossining, if you happen to ever wanna go somewhere. But sh at a point, she used to be in corporate stuff, and she was in marketing, and she was, like, looking for her next job. She did, kinda contract stuff, and I was like, "I don't know, I see you, like." I'm like, "Have you ever thought of totally changing jobs? Because I'm seeing you, like, walk up and down, like, preschool aisles." She's like, "No." And I'm like, "I don't know what this means." This is like, that's all I keep saying. Well, she ended up getting a job where she was doing the marketing for, like, a Montessori school system. So, I don't know why they keep showing me, like, goofy, circusy type, like, a clown car and all these different things, like, there's something to it. So if you ask anybody, there's a couple people who are in my psychic development circles, like, it won't always make sense. I don't know what it means, but I know it will make sense at a point. And maybe it's more important to you to have this as validation down the road rather than, like, the exact time and space that you're gonna meet. And I don't know why that would be more important, but I don't have the whole picture. Exactly as Hey Hey said. Maybe he's not a clown, maybe he's a chismoso. Maybe he's a comedian, you know what I mean? Couldn't that be it? Wouldn't you call, like, somebody who's a joker a clown? Chismoso? Is that the right word? Or what if he's a clown and he goes and cheers kids up at the hospital or something? I don't know. Who knows? You never know what that means or why it means that. All right, Jenna, you are finally up, dear. You're still on the list. Julie, you're right after Jenna. I got Jenna and Julie. Oh, that's gossipy. Okay, well, see, wrong. So what's clown or joker? Oh, there's Jenna. My dad is in a clinical trial for Sloan Kettering. Will it be successful? Will his health bounce back? Could you just give me his first name? Chistoso. Oh, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Darn it. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget it. Well, let's not be a gossip. Okay. Here we go. So I'm getting a couple different numbers here. So it feels like their plan may be for 6 rounds of something, and they said he makes it to 4 and doesn't need to do anymore. So I don't know what that means. I don't feel like it fails. I just feel like he doesn't need anymore. So is there a total of 6? Oh, hang on. I've got your list, Julie. Devery and Lana need to be after Julie. And like Devery and Lana should be between Julie and Marlene. He was supposed to get 6, but only able to tolerate 1. I feel like they might actually get him to 4. So I don't know what that means by getting to 4. So I don't know what that means, but it feels like so I don't feel like it stops at 1. So I don't know why if they bring him back or do something different, but it gets to 4, whatever that means. So maybe he comes back 3 more times but I feel like then he doesn't need any more. I feel like he will. It feels like they figure out a different way like if it's an infusion, they either titrate it differently or it feels like it's administered differently. So it's either a slower administration, titrated differently, combined differently. Something is different, but they figure out a way to get him to 4. And I don't know what that means. Or maybe they just do the same thing. I don't know what it means, but I do feel like they'll get him to 4. Will it be successful? It feels like it will be. But it feels also like a time thing to figure out if it's successful. So it feels like they won't fully know for maybe a 6 months to a year afterwards to know that it's successful. Like some things that they'll do, like when they do trials, they know right away. And it feels like this one is one of those ones where they have to it's like a wait and see. So I don't know if it's about like checking numbers, like lab values after the fact because it takes a long time for the lab values to kind of come back. Did they do something where I mean, would he have had, it doesn't quite feel like a bone marrow transplant, but it sort of feels like a bone marrow transplant. Like, when they do a bone marrow transplant, they kill everything off in order to replace it. T-cell infusions? Okay, okay. So it takes like, so it feels like it takes a long enough time to have the numbers come back up to where they are on their own. Why, wow. It feels like he's going to be okay, but he's going to be weak for a while. Like, he's not gonna be quite it feels like it takes me, like, 18 months to kinda get back into my own. I didn't nail it, I just heard him. I just listen. Just listen. I just listen. And they said you'll be okay too. So I don't know if there's fear around you getting the same thing or just feeling like overwhelmed emotionally, but it's like that you're going to be okay too. And I think that you really need to understand that as well. Oh, I'm so cold. Not wearing black pants like the Sprockets people. I really miss my heater. Oh, you're welcome a million times. Okay, Julie, let's go. Let's go. Julie, did you just say you wanted a normal, like a whatever? And then I'm gonna, because I'm kind of going slow and I've got several people still, so I'm gonna just check the list and then I'm gonna probably shut it down. Um, oh, so we'll close the list after Rochelle. Any messages from Spirit? This was weird. So I felt like almost like this energetic go like this over me. And then I heard it was so annoying. The Frozen song, Let It Go, Let It Go. And then I see like off in the distance, like, well, it's an elephant, and I always that to me represents Ganesh, and Ganesh is about opportunities. So it feels like just like needing to learn to, and I'm like, it just feels very ethereal, like it feels very magical feeling. And the magician in the tarot is representative of manifesting, and because he has all the elements to make what he wants or she wants, whatever you want to call the magician. So it feels like really just needing to, excuse my yawn, let go of what you desire and it's coming and the opportunities are there. They're also talking about facing your fears. So I kept seeing, like, at first I was seeing, like snake skin, the scales really close up, shiny and brilliant and really quite beautiful, with lots and lots of detail. And then I was asking to see what am I looking at, and I literally saw a cobra staring at me in the face. And it's just like facing your fears and facing, not the snakes are my fear, but it's sort of representative of that. Because like, I don't know, I'm not gonna be seeing any cobras, but it's just like, um, it also feels kind of loosely related to a person in your life, who holds emotional power over you, and it does feel like a male being. And it feels like, if you step back and recognize that it's just an illusion and they hold 0 power over you. There have been people in my life that, in very emotionally abusive ways sort of held me captive. And I was afraid, you get afraid of like, "Oh no, what will people think of me? Blah, blah, blah." And, I allowed their empty threats to scare me and to hold me sort of captive, and that's really all they were. When you step out of it and you sort of find your own power, you recognize that it was really just the fear of the unknown rather than that person, like, they weren't really that strong afterwards. Yeah. I felt like it was husband, but I didn't want to say that. See, I don't like to always deliver that, like, and, when someone tries to control another person in that way, it's really because they're weak and they don't have enough belief in their own being, and not that I'm saying, "Oh, feel sorry for him." It's just looking at it differently. I also noticed that when I was, like, kind of trying to get the information, I was, like, having to tell myself to breathe, so I think it's really important. Look, we all breathe enough to sustain our life, right? But we don't breathe enough necessarily to sustain our soul, so it's, like, just reminding yourself to take deep breaths in those moments, when you're feeling overwhelmed. Okay. Alright, Devry, you're up. Just a general reading. Have your neck and shoulders been tight here? Like, they're saying you need to anticipate the good things. That you've been on the hamster wheel for so long expecting all of the bad things because it just always has felt like life has been so hard, and they're saying you need to learn to rewrite that and anticipate the good things. So, I was reading an article today about what, cognitive behavioral therapy is, and, I don't even know how it came up on my thing, but it did. And, like, I wasn't searching it, it just came up as a suggestion, whatever. And they basically talk about manifesting. So can I just say like it's everywhere? And they're sort of talking about like they teach people to be in the present and focus on the present. It's not about healing the past or any of that stuff. And like changing your reaction and your perception of how things are. And it's sort of like, yeah, it may seem silly to get really excited about the job, but get really excited about the job, even if it's not your dream job. get really excited about finding the nickel on the ground because yeah, it's not like the lotto winner, but like it's money, it's free money. Get excited about it. They're like sort of like changing your perspective and expect the good. And they just said, you are a gift to the world and you just need to see that. And it's not about being like, I'm God's gift. It's just like understanding that we all have this really beautiful purpose and connection in this dance. And that like every single part is important. Um, when my girls were little, we would take like the PATH train or the subway and they would say, like, well, what does that person do? And I'd say, well, they're the conductor and they're really important. Like anytime they asked me, "What does that person do?" I'd always like they'd say whatever their title was, and then I say, "And they're really important." And no matter what job it was, "And they're really important." You know, every single person in a hospital is really important. If we didn't have, the people that did the cleaning and then got the garbage and the secretaries, I mean everybody's important. So for anybody to sit and stand on the top and go, I'm the most important, couldn't do it without me, well, that's bullshit. Like a hospital can't run without all of those people. You just can't. You need every single part to be working or things fall apart. um, and you are important and you matter. And it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to feel like sometimes you got gypped in life, That doesn't mean that you're not following the law of attraction or the, law of assumption. It's just it's okay to grieve that, like, those were lessons you had to go through and learn. That's okay. Don't feel bad about that. That's when we in the spiritual community, when people go to the, like, "Always be positive," it's like, "Oh my god, am I being ungrateful because I'm grieving something or grieving that I went through?" No. That's okay to do that. You don't wanna stay there and be stuck there for sure, but, like, it's okay to go, "Man, it sucks that, like, I didn't get this earlier." Sometimes I think that, like, "Well, wouldn't it be wonderful if I had gotten that earlier, figured that out earlier? It would have saved me so much, but I had to learn it the way I'm learning it." And, like, I sort of, like, go back into that, like, that's okay too. And they're sort of just talking about, like, appreciating it from all aspects of it and stop being so hard on yourself. You don't deserve all of that pressure you're putting on yourself. You're much too hard on yourself. I know the kind things that you say to me when you write these little messages in the PayPal. You would never, ever speak to me the way that you speak to yourself, and I think it's really important for you to know that you should be much gentler with yourself, okay? They just said the last thing they said was, "You are enough. Just as you are enough." Okay, Lana. What health issues are causing the pain in my feet and lower back? It literally feels like it does feel like a muscle thing. It doesn't feel like a nerve or, like, type issue. I don't feel like it's neuropathy in my feet. I actually feel like it's in, like, my heel and then the arch of my foot. Don't laugh, but I think releasing your psoas would help with that. Yeah. Hang on, my daughter wants a nap. Um, yeah, it just feels like I feel really tight in my hamstrings, um, and I just feel like I said earlier, everything is super interconnected. So I would look up like hip openers, psoas, things for your psoas. I like yoga with Adrienne. She's got a few videos on that. There's another woman I found, but I haven't watched anything from her yet, so I'll recommend that when I get it. But it feels all like it feels more muscular. Does that make sense? A neuropathy would feel like numbness and tingling, having cold feet, things like that, whereas like muscular feels like more achy, almost bruisey at points. Tight. Sometimes when things are really tight too, it feels like almost like your skin is ripping, like the fascia is really tight. I don't know if that resonates, if that you can validate any of that. Marlene, you're up, and Rochelle, you're up. They just said temporary. This is temporary. It's nothing that you're going to have, forever and ever, even if it feels that way. They go, we always have messages for you. I forgot that your personal name and your screen name. I'm sorry. Hey, it's been a while. Um, so with you, I feel like you've really started to open up your crown chakra because my head is like doing this thing where like I feel like it's almost like moving on its own. And they're saying like we're trying to bring your awareness to stuff. You just need to really like acknowledge it for all intents and purposes. Like when people want to know how to open up their psychic abilities and their intuition, I'm like, the biggest thing is just acknowledging it. So like if someone's constantly knocking on the door and you're just like doing the dishes and like you're not noticing the knock, like eventually they're gonna stop knocking. And I just feel like I also feel really dizzy. So have you been having dizzy spells lately? Because if it's not that, it's needing to drink water. It's a ball of your foot. That still feels like a muscle thing to me, like everything being really tight. So it's like you'll stretch your toes and all of that. Um, I think that it's all related to the tight muscles, and so you can get like I've had a lot of the ball foot stuff. I still feel like it's muscles. I don't feel like it's nerves, even if it's causing that pinch or whatever that shooting pain feeling is. It feels like it's more of a like everything is just tight. So some of the release videos will have you work with your feet first and then like kind of loosen up your muscles as you go up and then do like this other technique thing. Excuse me. I've been noticing as I ask for signs and they give them to me. I'm convinced my sister would that synchronicities are real because she was part of one. Okay. Um, they're still making me feel like they're reaching out to you in even more ways. So it's like pay attention to like not like look for the subtleties and don't question them. So I feel like there's some really subtle things where you're like, oh, I don't know, like, but like the one with your sister, you could validate, right? It just feels like even the subtle things. So, like, if you ask a question in your head and you get an answer, start to trust that a little bit more. They said, "You're doing fine. You're not as far behind as you think you are." And I don't know what that means. And they also said, "You'll be fine in the future." So, worrying about your future seems silly and a waste of time. They're like, sort of like, you really need to focus on your present. Do you worry about being alone a lot? Because they said to me, like, don't worry, you're not going to be alone. Rochelle, are you here? You want to ask your question? Sorry about yawning so much. Jeez. Go ahead and ask your question. Something. Sorry, there's a little tiny hair on my screen, and I'm like, why is there like a I think they are talking about how I feel I need to be further along in just life. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. You'll have support. The universe will support you. They have your back. Just start saying the mantra, "The universe always has my back. Everything's always working out in my favor. Everything's working out best case scenario." So you're not alone. You're doing it with someone. Can you tell me what your person's first name is, please, Rochelle? Dane. So the first thing I heard was a cork, like a champagne cork popping. And I feel like that's more towards though like November, October, late October, early November, but I'm leaning more towards November. Um, but then they're bringing out April, and they said April showers bring May flowers. So I feel like it might be a little bit of a rough spot in April. Maybe just like a little bit more bickering or just feeling more emotional with the connection, like and not like in a, just but that like just ride it, just go with it. That's not the end of your relationship or the end of things that are going on. It just feels like it's just a spot and it may be something planetary going on. I don't know. I don't loosely follow astrology. I get curious about things and I look them up, but I don't certainly don't know enough to forecast or anything like that. But it just feels like it's temporary. It's nothing and that you just need to keep moving on. But definitely a celebration towards the end of the year, and I don't know if that's an engagement pop, you know? Your birthday is in April, okay. So, it may be emotional because maybe you expect some sort of, like, proposal or something in April and it doesn't happen, and so you feel a little bit more emotional or jilted but I feel like it's coming, it's just later in the year. You still I still feel like like, not that long of a relationship, like, it's not, like, 7 years or anything. But it does feel serious, obviously. You're welcome. Hey, hey. Just because you haven't done something before doesn't mean you're not don't have wisdom. So I just feel like I need to, like, say that. Just because it's maybe new in your wheelhouse doesn't mean that you don't bring strengths to doing that work. And you may bumble a little bit here and there, but that's okay. That's what people do when they're learning. So don't expect, perfection. My kids in school, like my middle daughter was like, "Have you ever gotten 100 on anything, mom?" And I was like, "Yeah, I did." And I said, "But I also failed things like big time Fs." So like it doesn't I said it doesn't really matter, all like grades that are really low, either I said when I got those Fs, I knew I wasn't really putting my best work in and sometimes I worked as hard as I could and I only got a C and like that's like okay. Like it's just it feels like you're learning, you're not gonna be perfect right away. Anything holding back from commitment with you so far? It just feels like it's about more about timing and about also feeling like, um, I don't wanna say pressured because it's not pressure, but it feels like he wants to be it on, like, he wants it to be on when he says it's gonna be, on his terms. Like, and I don't wanna sound, like, misogynistic, but it just feels like I'm the man, I should be like, I should plan it. It shouldn't be, like, feeling, I don't know, like, he doesn't wanna feel like you're running the show, which is stupid, but, like, does that make sense when I say that? Um, excuse me for popping my knuckles. It just feels like he has a vision about how he wants to do it, and he doesn't want that to get messed up. So it feels like he also has this, like, he's kind of a planner and has a vision about the way things are gonna turn out and, like, likes them to turn out that way. And I also wanna say this, just because he hasn't asked you to marry him doesn't mean he's not committed, okay? Alrighty then. I'm gonna say good night. Everybody have a good week. I will try and pop on this week and do my manifesting chats. Hopefully it's a little smoother than last week. And thank you all for trusting me with your questions. 100% of the money that I earned today will go to charity, and I'll post how much it is. It's somewhere around, I don't know, think I wrote 60, so something around $60. So that's enough for 180 meals. So come and see me next week. We'll do another weekend of 100% donated to charity. Like, subscribe, share me with your friends. Have a lovely week. Come see me for a private reading. All of my information is linked below. Have a good one. Thank you, KK.